that an agreement, in fact, has been reached. Former Chief Justice of Nepal, Sushila Karki, is going to be the head of the interim government. In fact, in a few minutes from now, about half an hour, 40 minutes from now, is when we are going to be seeing her oath-taking ceremony take place as well. She is going to be sworn in as the interim Prime Minister of the country. The House of Representatives is also going to be dissolved, which means the dissolution of Parliament, which these Gen Z protesters have been asking for. That is a demand that has finally been agreed to by the President and by the Nepal Army. A full day of intense discussions took place all day today. There were several delays as far as those meetings went, but eventually and finally a consensus has been built, is what we're given to understand. Siddhant, my colleague, now in fact joins us live from Kathmandu. He's been getting us the voices from on ground. Siddhant, in about 45 minutes from now is when we're given to understand that oath-taking ceremony will happen, where Nepal will finally have an interim Prime Minister after 3 days of uncertainty.
Well, that's right, Poonam. In fact, after 2 days of hectic parley, at the army headquarters and at the Rashtrapati Bhavan, finally, Sushila Karki has been confirmed as the next interim Prime Minister of Nepal. In fact, Poonam, there were a lot of issues, perhaps, Gen Z's. First, there was Sushila Karki's name, which was proposed, after which Kulman Gising's name also did come up for discussion. Then, since morning, Poonam, there was one meeting which was at 9 a.m. in the morning. That meeting got postponed to 2 p.m. And then finally, late in the evening, we got to know that there is a deadlock because Gen Zs wanted the parliament and the provincial assemblies to be dissolved before the oath-taking of Sushila Karki. But President of Nepal and army was not agreeing for that. And in fact, they had to say that the next Prime Minister should become under the constitutional framework. So that is what the President had to say. And the army was also convinced with President's opinion. But now we can say this, Poonam, that ultimately President of Nepal and army has to accept the demands of the Gen Z protesters, and perhaps now the oath-taking of Sushila Karki is going to take place in next 45 minutes at the newly formed building. And in fact, we've been told that that right after that, the parliament and the provincial assemblies in Nepal will be dissolved. So definitely Gen Zs have won. They have not only overthrown the Oli government, but they are deciding the Prime Minister of Nepal, interim Prime Minister of Nepal, and they are also they have managed to pressurize President and army to dissolve the parliament and a provincial assembly. So it's a big win for the youngsters, for the youth, those who were on the streets protesting, and perhaps now the president has to accept what they wanted.
What it seems like, but Siddhant, we're also given to understand that along with Sushila Karki, at least 2 others will also be sworn in. There is going to be an interim cabinet that will also be put in place. That's what we are gathering.
Well, that's right, Poonam. In fact, Kulman Gising's name is doing the rounds. One is Om Prakash Aryal, and the third one is Balanandan Sharma. These are the names which are doing the rounds. We are still awaiting for the official confirmation. So in total, there is going to be 4 people taking oath tonight. It's going to be a very small cabinet, and in fact, right after the oath taking, there's going to be the cabinet meeting also. This is also what we have been told. So definitely there's a lot of hope, Poonam, as far as youngsters in Nepal. They are really happy with this transition, and in fact they have been looking for it from a long time. Finally, they had to come on the streets to overthrow the government and to get the new interim government and to rebuild the nation. But it's definitely going to be a very challenging task for Sushila Karki and her government, Poonam, given the economy of Nepal is already in doldrums. There have been major buildings across the city vandalized and ransacked. and were set ablaze. So, to rebuild those buildings, to renovate them and, to put them back in place perhaps require a lot of fund. So,
Right.
so it's definitely going to be a challenge. And also the aspirations of youth, Poonam, this protest had to do with corruption, nepotism, unemployment, cost of living, etc., etc. So what is going to be the roadmap of this interim government? How they are going to meet the aspiration of the youth? Perhaps, as I said, that it's going to be a very, very challenging journey. And then again to announce the election.
We'll decode what those challenges are as our guests join us here on Brass Tacks as well. But for the moment, Siddhant, thank you so much for getting us the latest. We'll, of course, keep coming back to you as we inch closer to that swearing-in ceremony.